this will break your heart. I'm never gonna hold you back. I'm always gonna have your back.
Good morning, beautiful people. Happy Monday morning. We're running a little behind today. Sorry about that. We went out and we did 10 miles on the bike. Very excited. My cohort was a half an hour late. Otherwise, I might be on time this morning. Anyway, I won't give them too much grief. So for April 20th, we got our reading. In a consumer society, there are inevitably two kinds of slaves, the prisoners of addiction and the prisoners of envy, by Ivan Illich. Envy comes from a belief that others have more or are worth more than us. Coming to believe we are lovable lets us trust the healing of our addictions. This process challenges us to take off our masks and get to know our real selves. When we finally have the courage to confront our internal secrets, obsessions, and fears, we are set free. The deep, empty hole in us that has cried out for soothing begins to heal, and we feel settled. The task of I can't read this morning. The task of accepting our human weaknesses and limitations and loving ourselves in spite of our imperfections is a difficult one, but is the path of spiritual growth. Being willing to nourish the healthy seed inside us is one of the first steps that is necessary for the door of recovery to swing open. As we let go of our pain, self-doubt begins to diminish and our real selves begin to flourish. Today, let me trust that there is something lovable and healthy inside of me that is waiting to flourish. There's a lot in that one, huh? Okay. So it starts off with envy. I haven't had time to digest this, so we're going to digest it together because as I was reading, part of why I got tripped up is because my brain started thinking things. So envy, and I think this talks a lot about healing on the inside, which we already know I'm a believer of. When we have the courage to confront our internal secrets, obsessions, and fears, we are set free. So I think that for me, one of the ways I was able to confront my internal secrets is we just did the step 4 work, right? Well, when I was impatient, I had to do that as well. And I think I've mentioned that once I download something from my brain, then it's kind of gone forever in my opinion, or at least until somebody recalls it and then I have to dig deep. But I turned all that stuff over to the chaplain. And since then, I don't think about those secrets or bad behaviors or whatever when I did my step 5 work. And I think that was a big piece to my healing starting. The next paragraph is the task of accepting our human weakness and limitation and loving ourselves in spite of our imperfections. This I had an aha moment about Friday night when I was watching Justin. Like Justin from Blue October, and if you're just listening, Blue October is the guys who play the music at the beginning and the end. But the more I watch Justin, the more I see that he just puts himself out there, whether he's being goofy or silly or serious or emotional. He's just so authentic. And as I was watching him, I ended up taking some notes because I've been, struggling, I guess is the right word. I've been trying to think about. All right, so here it is. Here's the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So I'm trying to get to be on TikTok and try to understand this TikTok thing. And the way social media is geared is you want, likes and follows and whatever. So my first couple TikToks I did were gratitude videos because that's who I am. That's what I like to do. And they had views, but they didn't have a lot of likes and stuff. And that was really bothering me until I realized, and I know that the realization doesn't solve it all. It's just a realization, but it doesn't matter if they like and follow me. I'm going to keep doing my gratitude videos on TikTok or wherever because they make me happy. And they're, I believe, the right thing to do, to let people know I appreciate them. And it's part of my recovery to stay in a place of gratitude. So when I have the honor of identifying people that have touched my lives, I'm going to continue to do that. And it was kind of a big reset where I just have to have a not give a shit attitude. And that's okay too. There's a friend of mine that I met her only once in person. It won't be the last time. But her name is Melissa, and she lives out in Rhode Island. And we met her at the Blue October concert last year. And you want to talk about the realest person. She's another one. Full-blown, authentic. And she did this dance on Facebook last night. And then she challenged her friends, to dance too. And a few of them did. And luckily, I had that epiphany on Friday night. So I jumped on in my comfy clothes and no makeup and with my teddy bear, and I danced to the song. And it had occurred to me for a minute, like, are you sure you want to do this? And then I'm like, yeah, I want to dance. And that's my authentic self. And I'm going to keep fighting. My authentic self keeps growing and learning and changing. But I'm going to keep fighting for her. And I'm going to remind myself, I know I mentioned this before, Brooke Castillo has this podcast, and she talks about the peach. I love this peach theory. And she says not all people like peaches, because the skin is furry or it's too juicy or they don't like the flavor or whatever. And it's okay that not all people like peaches. So I keep trying to remind myself, I'm just a peach. Not everybody is going to like me. And that's okay. And I have to be okay with that. If I got into people-pleasing mode, which I'm not really good at anyway, I would make myself bananas. So it's just like the podcast. If you don't like it, you could turn the channel, right? You don't have to stay with me. You might want a more refined show that's edited, that doesn't have pauses, that the host takes himself more seriously. No, I need to laugh at myself. I need to have fun, and I need to be me. And hopefully me telling you that will remind you to be you. You can be a peach too. Not everybody has to love you. The cool thing is, I think that when we find ourselves and when we are in recovery, we start seeing how many people do love our peachiness. And that's kind of been my experience. I really haven't lost as many friends as I thought I would have. And that's okay. I'm grateful for that. And the ones that maybe I'm not still in contact with or whatever, it's all right. We don't have to be in the same circles. It's completely fine. We can both live, me and whoever can live productive lives without having to run the same circles because we're not aligned. So those are my thoughts for today. And I'm going to just repeat that last little statement because I believe this. And if you make this kind of a foundation of how to recovery or how to view yourself, and there's times, I talk to the normal people, so to speak, that maybe aren't gamblers that listen, but this is something that everybody can take away. Today, let me trust that there is something lovable and healthy inside me that is waiting to flourish. So beautiful people. That's what makes us beautiful people, is we're not perfect and we're trying. That's it. That's the only requirement for being a beautiful person, is be you, do you, keep trying. All right. I hope everybody has a fabulous day. I love you guys. And